When it comes to racing games, there are a lot of them. Some more serious like Forza, while others are more laid back. And a good example of the latter is Mario Kart, the ultimate couch co-op racer that has taken the world by storm ever since Nintendo released it. However, throughout the years we've seen odd things in the games, and some people even claim wild stuff online. But we aren't sure if they are telling the truth or not. It could be all lies. But today we are going to do something about that, because we will look at a bunch of myths from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe to see if they are true or false. So let's dive right in. Number 15. Now, as most of you know, Nintendo loves to add little details to their games, and some are well known, while others are more of a mystery. But even when you go past them again and again, you can miss them, especially in a game like Mario Kart where you are racing. And I've heard that there's actually a Statue of Liberty in Toad Harbor, but the one holding the torch is actually Peach. But is this Easter egg really in the game? I mean, I had never really seen it, but hey, I don't always pay attention to my surroundings. And so I went there to check it out, and to my surprise, it is actually there, but she isn't holding a torch. It looks like she has a star in one hand and a mushroom in the other, which is more fitting for the Mario universe after all. But I had never noticed this, but it's still cool to see that they added this little Easter egg. Number 14. Now alright, I bet most of you knew about the last one. It wasn't that big of a mystery or myth. However, I can promise you that this next one is more interesting. And when I heard about it and checked it, I had to really pay attention to figure out if it was even real. Apparently in the water park course, you can hear the music of Big Boo's haunt at the Aqua Cup's merry-go-round. Now I had never heard this, so I went there to check it out. And yeah, it's actually a thing. You can hear the music from Super Mario 64. Now I bet most people never noticed this because they either went past it too quickly or they didn't go through the merry-go-round at all. So yeah, this one is true, and it makes me wonder if there are more little details like this in the game. Number 13. Obviously, this list isn't just filled with small stuff. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is all about racing, speed, items, screwing people over, and shortcuts. And the last thing I mentioned is what we will look at next. A cool potential shortcut in Toad's Turnpike. Because apparently you can fly over the bridge found in the map. You know, the one you normally go under? But is this really possible? Sometimes there is an invisible barrier stopping you, and other times it just can't be done. So I tested it. Now I made sure to use the ramp of this truck, and with a bit of precision, I was able to pull it off. Now I will say it's rare for all of this to come together at the right time, so you can actually do this in a race, but hey, if it does, I bet it will save you a good amount of time. Heck, it could even completely change the outcome, which is pretty rad. Number 12. Throughout the years, we've seen more and more characters in the Mario Kart games, and in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, there are a lot of them. And with some, you can even decide their color scheme. For example, going with a green or pink Yoshi, or a blue or green Shy Guy. But I saw someone online ask the question, do these different colors affect the character's stats in any way? Well, I tested this, but as you can see, the different colors don't change anything, which makes sense. It's only an alternate color option, so it would be weird if it actually affected the stats at all. And luckily enough, that's not the case. Number 11. In Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, there's one map that most people like, and others absolutely hate it, Baby Park. A rather simple and short track where you just go round and round, while there is chaos all around you. But I saw online that you can apparently do this whole map in one drift, especially if you use smart steering. But when I heard this, I didn't believe it whatsoever. So I started the game, loaded the map, and tried it. But I noticed something went wrong each time. Sure, for a while it worked, but once you go around the corner, you just go into the side. And even when you use smart steering, the game will kind of force you to stop drifting. It's just too much. So really, it doesn't work at all. Now sure, this map is a lot of drifting, but as far as I can see, doing one long drift is impossible. Number 10. Now when racing, there are a number of things that all of us do to win, or to be a second faster than everyone else. However, in a lot of cases, we don't really know if it actually helps us at all. Sure, it might feel like that, but who knows if it's true. And one thing that I was wondering about is, if you go through a cannon, which are seen on maps like Maple Treeway, Waluigi Pinball and some others, and do a trick during the jump, will you actually be faster? I mean, normally a trick gives you a speed boost, which makes you go faster. But is that also the case here? Well, I tested it on the Waluigi Pinball map by going through the cannon normally and when doing a trick. And my findings are interesting. By the looks of it, doing a trick will actually slow you down. Not much, but still. When testing this, I found out that you're 0.1 seconds slower compared to just going through the cannon normally. Sure, it's not a massive difference, but it's a difference. And when you land, you don't even get a speed boost. So really, doing a trick when going into the cannon won't help you at all, even though you would think that it does. Now, of course, testing this is a bit hard and I could be wrong, but I really did my best to get the right answer. Heck, I even used math. And now you know that when you enter a cannon, it's better to relax and stick the landing. Number 9. One of my favorite maps in the game is Excitebike Arena. I don't know why, but I really love it a lot. However, there's one thing you need to watch out for in this track: the mud that is found all over the place. Because if you go through those, they will slow you down a lot, and that way you will never win. But I heard some interesting claims online about this mud. Apparently, if you have big tires, the mud won't slow you down as much, which is a bold claim. So I tested it, but when I drove through the mud with both big and small tires, I didn't see any difference. So yeah, as far as I can see, this stuff isn't real at all. I mean, it makes sense to an extent, but clearly Nintendo didn't think about this. Number 8. In the game, a number of maps are on a grand scale, and one of those is Mount Wario, which doesn't have laps at all. It's one long track, and the first one to make it to the bottom of the mountain wins the race. It's as simple as that. However, I saw one weird claim that I didn't believe at all, but I never paid attention whether it's a thing or not. Apparently, the music on this track won't drop until you actually leave the helicopter which you start in. But is this even a thing? From what I can remember, the song does the drop as soon as I hit the mountain. So I booted up the track and just sat there to see what would happen. And as expected, the music would just play like normal. Sure, it's timed in such a way that it really kicks in when you hit the snow, but it will still play even when you don't move at all. So clearly, what was claimed isn't true whatsoever, but I kind of get where it came from. Number 7. Now, I've played a lot of Mario Kart in my life. I can't even imagine how many races I've done in total. But now that I think about these races, I think I've never done one in reverse. You know, driving backwards the entire race. And if you do this, can you even finish the race? Or does the game get confused or something? Well, I gave it a shot. An entire race long, I went backwards. And it actually works. It registers the rounds and you can finish. But as you can see, the game doesn't really like it. It will constantly tell you you're doing it wrong. However, that doesn't matter. As long as you can finish, it's all good. Number 6. A lot of the new maps Nintendo added to the game are amazing. I basically love all of them. But as you can imagine, this meant that new shortcuts could be discovered. However, some that are claimed work, while others don't. And one I heard about is seen on Yoshi's Island. Apparently, you can skip the last turn on the map. Normally, you must land, go right, and then you just go straight. But instead of doing that, you could also lean right and land somewhere very close to the finish line. But is this possible? Well, I tried it, but each time I did it, the game didn't like what I was doing. Lakitu would grab me and would put me where I was supposed to go. So it isn't really possible as far as I can see. And I mean, even if it was, who knows if it's actually faster than the normal route. But I guess we will never know. Number 5. Sometimes Mario Kart can feel very unfair. Sure, when someone wins due to skill, it's all fine, but at times, it seems like it's all rigged. To an extent, you have to deal with randomness, like CPUs and item boxes that are like slot machines. But one thing I always wondered is, are there any mechanics in the game that help with aiming? In a lot of shooters on console, bullets will have some sort of magnetic effect, because otherwise playing these games on a console would just be too hard. A joystick is incredibly limited after all. The range of motion is almost nothing. This is why mechanics like this were added to games like Halo Reach. But is this in Mario Kart as well, with something like a green shell? Well, after throwing some shells at CPUs, we could see that this isn't a thing. As you can see here, when it's slowed down, the green shell just goes straight, even when it's super close to another racer. Really, only if you connect with their hitbox you get a hit. Well, that's at least what it looks like. So it seems like aim assist isn't really a thing. Number 4. Now this next one is simple. It involves you and what you can do to other racers by clicking a button. Because apparently if you click the button that's normally used for items when you have nothing on you, you will honk. And this causes all the drivers around you to jump in their seat. But is this a thing? Well yeah, I've seen it many times when you're waiting for the race to start. But aside from that, I never really saw it. So can you also do it while you're racing? Well yeah, throughout the entire race you can make people jump in their seat when you honk. But does it do anything useful? Will it hinder other racers in any way? Well, after spamming my horn throughout an entire race, I saw that it did nothing. Sure, they will jump in their seat, but that's kind of it. But still, it can be fun. Number 3. Now this next one surprised me because I had never seen it even though I've played a lot of Mario Kart. We all know about the Piranha plant item. It is quite powerful because it bites any racer near you while it gives you a speed boost with each bite. As you can imagine, this is pretty useful, but apparently it can do even more than that because it can also save you from getting inked. According to what I saw online, if you have the Piranha plant active and somebody throws a blooper, the plant will gobble up the squid when it hovers in front of you, and so you're safe. But does this really work? Well, I got into a race, acquired a Piranha plant, and waited for someone to use a blooper. Now, when it finally happened and I activated the item, it ate the squid right away, and so I dodged a bullet. So clearly it works, which is pretty cool, especially because I had never really seen this. Number 2. For this one, we will again look at something small. Something that's similar to what we looked at for our first myth. Because as you can imagine, Nintendo has added a lot more things in the background of tracks. And I saw people claim that in the map of New Rainbow Road, there's a space shuttle shaped like a blooper, which can be seen at the very beginning of the track. But can you actually see this? Well, when I loaded the map and started driving, I could see it pretty quickly, although it was only there for a bit. It moves on pretty fast. But this does show that it's actually in the game. And now that I see it, I came up with an idea. Nintendo should collaborate with Lego and turn this into a Lego set. It's perfect for that. To be honest, I really hope they do that one day. Number 1. Now, sometimes DLC can be a bit disappointing, but overall Nintendo is pretty amazing when it comes to this. I mean, the Breath of the Wild DLC was a good example of amazing DLC, and with Mario Kart they once again knocked it out of the park. They added so many new maps, and as you can imagine, these are filled with little things you have never seen before. And someone online claimed that there's a Mumu Meadows truck in the new Bangkok Rush track. But can this really be found in the level? Well, yes, it can actually be found here in this parking spot, which also means that Mumu Meadows milk is a worldwide brand in the Mario universe, which I never knew. And now we also know that this claim is real. Now those were all the things I wanted to cover today, but don't be sad, I have more videos like this, so go check them out! And don't forget to leave your own suggestions of what I should test below in the comments section. I do actually read them and use those. Thank you all so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, leave any ideas, any stuff down below. I read comments, I take suggestions from comments, you get featured in a video, the whole 9 yards. Subscribe and click the bell button, leave a like, do all that good stuff, it really helps me out, and you stay up to date with new upcoming videos. Woo! And then I hope all of you enjoyed this first Mario Kart video. If you didn't like the myths, then add better myths down below, because they help improve the video. Yay, I would appreciate that. Now I'm gonna, I'm just done. In it. All right, lovelies, I'm gonna go now. Bye, everybody. Bye.